John Sklenar 007005. So I will be discussing foresight, which is on page 15 of the poetry book. So foresight. That is work of waste and ruin, do as Charles and I are doing. Strawberry blossoms one and all, we must spare them, here are many. Look at it, the flower is small, small and low, though fair as any. Do not touch it, summer's too. I am older, Anne, than you. Pull the primrose, Sister Anne, pull as many as you can. Here are daisies, take your fill. Pansies are the cuckoo flower of the lofty daffodil. Make your bed or make your bower, fill your lap and fill your bosom, only spare the strawberry blossom. Primroses to spring may love them, summer knows but little of them. Violets are violets, a barren kind, withered on the ground must lie. Daisies leave no fruit behind when the pretty flowerets die. Pluck them, and another year, as many will be blowing here. God has given a kindler power to the favored strawberry flower. Hither soon as spring is fled, you and Charles and I will walk. Lurking berries ripe and red, then will hang on every stalk, each within its leafy bower, and for that promise spare the flower. So the overarching meaning of this poem is discussing how the narrator is trying to protect his younger sister Anne by showing her not to kill the strawberry flower or the strawberry blossoms, but rather pick the other flowers. So on the first part of the poem, in sentences in line 1 and 2, the narrator is explaining to the sister that is work of waste and ruin, comparing the act of destroying the strawberry blossom or the strawberry flower is an idea of waste and ruin because they are ultimately going to grow into this greater flower. They are going to bloom later on. And he's using himself and his friend Charles as an idea of a guidance. So this is a use of dialogue or a command by the narrator towards his younger sister. So then in line 5 through 6, the narrator is describing the flower small and low, and very fair. So this flower has the visual imagery of being beautiful and pure and almost young, and has not blossomed yet into such a beautiful flower. On line 7, there's a use of capitalization where summer is not capitalized, which shows once again immaturity and the fact that this flower has not grown, with it not being capitalized. On line 8, another use of dialogue where the narrator is expressing how much more powerful he is than Anne, using his age as a guidance for Anne not to touch the flower. In line 11 and 13 through 13, he is the narrator is using visual imagery to explain the situation of the other flowers that are around them, such as the daisies and the lofty daffodil and the cuckoo flower and the pansies. So it's overarching that these flowers have already bloomed, so it's okay to pick them. The narrator is using this visual imagery to show that these flowers are more mature and that she can ultimately make your bed or make your bower or fill your lap, having a lot of these flowers, compared to the strawberry blossom, which does not have a lot of flowers. So the narrator is ultimately protecting these. On line 16, there's a use of punctuation with the exclamation point, only spare the strawberry blossom, showing how sincere the narrator is. The speaker is expressing that he feels stern about this idea, and the narrator is trying to help his younger sister. In line 17 and 18 is a use of foreshadowing, for the primroses. The narrator has knowledge that the primroses will die ultimately, and he foresees that they will ultimately be done, which compares to title foresight, where the narrator is using this foreseen knowledge of how flowers are going to turn out and ultimately making these decisions to guide his sister and showing that she should not be picking the strawberry blossom. On line 19 through 20, is a use of visual imagery where he says the violets are barren and they will wither on the ground. So once again, these flowers are going to die ultimately and have this image of them being weak and withered versus the strawberry blossom, which is going to grow and flourish. And daisies leave no fruit behind in line 21, saying that they don't have any use anymore. Daisies are seemingly useless. So this continues with a lot of visual imagery throughout the stanza. In line 25, God has given a kindler power, using use of allusion towards God shows how serious the narrator is about protecting the strawberry flower, to the favored strawberry flower. So God is favoring the strawberry flower. So the use of religion helps add a more sincere aspect towards the narrator's idea of protecting his sister and protecting the strawberry flower. There's soon as spring has fled, that's a use of personification, or spring fleeing, which helps add to the foreshadowing before, where as spring may love them, summer knows but little of them, on lines 17 through 18. So now he sees spring is going to flee and a lot of these flowers are going to die. So then he uses use of visual imagery in lines 28 through 31, and foreshadowing, where he sees the future and how beautiful this future is going to be, and how ripe and red these flowers are going to be, and how they will, each within its leafy bower, how marvelous these will be. And in the last sentence, in line 32, there's an exclamation point after promise save the flower to once again show sincerity and also go towards overarching claim that his sister needs to protect these flowers and needs to protect the flowers. So this compares to Wordsworth in naturalism, because his knowledge of naturalism adds to him protecting nature. This is almost a call towards people who are not naturalists and have knowledge of what is going on. So don't pick these flowers that are going to flourish later on in their lives, but rather pick the other flowers that are going to be weaker and die. So overall, the meaning is that the narrator or the speaker is trying to protect his younger sister, and through knowledge of naturalist ideas. All right, thank you.